demonstrate just how endless that support is. Register to walk at kidneywalk.ca.
Hello, I'm Lloydetta Quaco. I'm here at the rooms where we just finished recording the Sharing Our Culture series that will be coming soon on Rogers TV.
The lift wasn't working and he was in pain, so I tried to lift him on my own. Yes, it's bad. I'll need help.
Can I help you with that?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Workplace injuries hurt the most at home.
It's about sharing and caring. It's about doing and belonging. It's about living life to its fullest. And it's about laughing out loud. We are L'Arche Canada, and we're about witnessing and sharing the gifts of all people. Learn more about us today.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jason Piercey, and this is our yearly Halloween special here on Rogers TV, Out of the Fog. We're gonna step outside the studio. We're gonna meet with resident creepy expert, Mr. Mike Hickey, who you've seen before over the last couple of Halloweens. Then we're gonna get on a bus and we're gonna travel around to some creepy places and talk to some creepy people about creepy stories that they wrote. And it's all gonna happen right here. I'm so excited. Woo. I hope you enjoy it.
You're watching Rogers TV, St. John's.
Hi, I'm Carl Wells, getting ready to record another edition of Carl Wells Point to Point. It's a program where I chat with members of our community and they talk candidly about their lives and careers, from their earliest dreams to their greatest triumphs. I think you'll find it informative and entertaining. Please join us for Carl Wells Point to Point, right here on Rogers TV.
This is Rogers TV.
Okay, folks, you are no stranger to Mr. Mike Hickey. You've been around for the last 2 or 3 or 4 Halloween specials.
As long as you've been doing Halloween specials, I've been around for them.
As long as I've been with Rogers TV and Out of the Fog. So in addition to being our resident creepy guy.
When you say it that way, it's sort of, it hurts a little bit.
No, it doesn't. You love it. And a horror expert, especially in literature and film.
Yeah.
You're also right now, editor and co-author of Terror Nova. So what's Terror Nova?
So Terror Nova is a new anthology of Newfoundland-inspired horror. We have 11 authors who have lived in Newfoundland, experienced Newfoundland, know what Newfoundland culture is, know what the Newfoundland landscape is, know what Newfoundland towns are like, who have put together some incredible, original horror stories inspired by the place. And I wrote a novella that kind of wraps around all those stories.
So there's how many stories are there? Not
so there's
yours.
11 plus mine.
Okay, so there's 11 ghost stories or horror stories.
Horror stories,
and then you managed to find a way to write one that wraps them all into one story.
Well, yeah, I have a story that I wrote at the end, as well as a novella that kind of weaves through everything. And so the idea is, a few years ago, me and my now wife were in Dublin, and we did this thing called the Ghost Bus Tour, which sounds like Ghostbuster, but it's Ghost Bus Tour, and it's this double-decker bus where you get on, and the bottom floor is done up like a haunted house. There's animatronic things that like jump out at you, and there's a fog machine and lightning and all this kind of stuff.
This is spooky.
And then you go upstairs, and then the guy comes, and it's like done up like a little parlor, and you sit down, and they drive you around Dublin, and a guy comes up and tells you ghost stories. It's kind of like the haunted hike, but on a bus.
Yes. Okay.
And so when we were trying to come up with an idea for what the framing device and narrative for this book would be, I thought back to that and went, okay, how cool would it be to get on a bus and go around Newfoundland and go to all these different places and hear stories kind of inspired by them. So you roll into Trinity and there's a story about Trinity. You roll into, Carbonear and there's a story about Peter Easton and, like these sorts of things.
Okay, so that's a really cool concept. And
yeah, it's really fun. I think I forgot to do a Yelp review, so I feel like this makes up for that. I forgot to do a review for the bus tour, but I wrote a book about it.
Right. Okay, so that's enough talking about it.
I guess so, yeah.
Let's just go sort of make it happen?
Yeah, so we have a bus.
Yeah, we're going to get on
and we
bus.
decorated the bus, and we have a bunch of authors and friends, and we're going to go drive around and do some spooky stuff. Because why not?
Come with us.
It's going to be fun. As moonlight crowns thy pine-clad hills, there is a darkness that spreads its hand into the nooks and crannies of the rocky landscape and lingers under the gleeful facade of Newfoundland and Labrador. It's not on billboards, it's not in magazines or featured in cooking shows. When ginger-haired children run through tourism commercials alongside a clothesline strewn with floral printed sheets from Nan's spare room, the sheets don't catch the shape of a body that isn't actually standing in the sun-drenched field of high grass. But that darkness is there, waiting to envelop the place like a fog smothering a harbor. It's the same darkness that stretched out to form the long shadow of the double-decker bus that shambled over the winding road, making its way to pick up a herd of tourists. According to the brochures, guests were promised a night of pure horror from sunset to sunup. But the bus would have to race the day's end if it planned to stay true to its advertised word and collect the gaggle of tourists that were convening outside a pub in downtown St. John's before nightfall. The bus was a strange sight, even if you forgave the fact that double-decker buses weren't used on the island, and as far as anyone could tell, this was the only one. It was painted in a rich purple with black accents along the corners, edges, and rivets. A neon green Terra Nova was sprawled along the side in a font that had carefully been selected from an online list tagged #horror.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is Matthew LeDrew. Matt, you're the owner of Engine Books.
I am.
And I understand Engine Books as being a local, is publisher the right word?
Yeah, publisher would absolutely be the right word.
And you're sort of specialized in things like horror, or like indie is what you say, correct?
Indie, yeah. So horror, science fiction, fantasy, genre publishing broadly. Yeah.
Okay, so can we talk a little bit about where Terra Nova came from? First of all, how good a name is Terra Nova?
That's all Mike.
It's so clever.
It's so clever. Can't believe it wasn't done before. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's how, in my mind, that's how you know something's a really good idea, when instantly everybody says, how does this not already exist?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So tell me about how it came about, because it's an interesting concept.
It was. So the concept was, I would be hard pressed to say which one of it. I've just been giving Mike total credit for it. But he came to me after the Nightmare on Water Street, or Nightmare on George Street events that Juan was putting off, and we'd met at a local horror convention and stuff like that. He decided he wanted to work with me on a novel or a book of short stories, and I think together we just workshopped the idea. One of us came up with the idea of curating local authors, because I've had been blessed to work in the industry with a lot of very, very talented, scary writers, and to have each one write a different stop along the way. So he wrote this, I think it was me that came up with the idea of the framing narrative.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, as we call it. And then every stop along the way was a different short story, because I think the original concept was just a book of short stories.
So it's really interesting to be able to take all of these individual voices as authors, because a lot of times in an anthology, it's very clear where one story starts and ends, and but this isn't a collection of short stories. It's one narrative that ties separate voices together.
Very much.
So it's sort of, I feel like that's not a super common thing to happen.
It's not entirely common, especially in this genre or anything like that. It is a unique thing, and I'm gifted with knowing some very talented authors who could pull it off, and like when you give them like voice and tone and stuff like that, they know what to do.
And of course they have the freedom, because of the concept, to write the way that they would write, because they're not bound by Mike's voice as writing the novella that ties them together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for your part in that and for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
And let's go do some creepy stuff.
Awesome.
Okay, so we're about to walk down into the corn maze here at Leicester's. This is Jon Dobbin, one of the co-contributors, one of the authors. One thing I want to point out before we talk about anything about your story is clearly this is meant to be your genre because I saw this.
Yeah.
This would be the one and only super creepy Edgar Allan Poe. And this almost looks like a raven.
It is, yeah. It's faded a little. There's a house.
I see the skull. Is that like the Cask of Amontillado, maybe?
Yeah, or the Mask of the Red Death.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then I have my Stephen King tattoos.
So, like, horror, thriller, that sort of literature is, well, I mean, kind of actually in your blood.
Yeah,
For real.
a little bit, yeah, on the surface anyway.
Tell me a little bit how you got involved in this project.
Well, I've done a few different stories with InGen and the crew before. I actually debuted as a published author in their former anthology, Chillers from the Rock.
Oh, I heard about that, yeah.
So I had a couple of scary stories in me there, and my debut novel, The Starving, came out May 2019, and that's a horror western novel.
Horror western?
Yeah.
I like it.
So I've been involved in the horror writing stuff for a while. So Matt and Mike reached out and asked me if I wanted to take part, and I of course wanted to jump on it.
So can you give me, as we start to tread through here, watch your step, can you give me a little bit of information about your story? Just maybe a little teaser for the audience.
My story takes place on a made-up oil rig off the coast of Newfoundland. I didn't want to do anything too real, because everybody, knows the oil company pretty well around here. But
sure, yeah.
It's basically kind of a head nod to Lovecraft and his type of work.
Okay.
But taking place on a Newfoundland oil rig.
Cool.
Yeah.
So are we talking like murderous, gory stuff, ghosts and goblins? Like, where are we?
Well, minus the racism that he's known for, but add in a lot of supernatural, kind of ominous, old god creatures that are, that we can't comprehend kind of thing, and a cult that wants to bring them back.
So some of the creepy figures who might show up in the middle of a corn maze in the middle of the night?
Maybe, yeah.
Thanks, Jon. That's exactly what I needed, bro.
That's great, yeah. That's what I'm here for.
Mike, let's talk a little bit about the horror culture in and around St. John's in Newfoundland, because you're a big part of a couple of different things. So talk a little bit about what's going on about creepy stuff here.
So much is happening here. It's really cool. I mean, obviously, it was so easy when me and Matt started this project to bring together 11 authors who wanted to write Newfoundland horror.
Yeah.
That alone, I think, says a whole lot about just how strong things are here in terms of horror. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing some stuff with the Grindmind guys. I just worked on their latest film a couple months ago, getting ready to do Mummering Legends with them, which I'm really excited about.
Mummering Legends?
It's a new one they're doing for the Picture Sharp program.
Okay.
So it's kind of a sort of prequel. Oh, that's creepy. Like the bride.
Yes, it is, yeah.
The bride and groom
Actually,
over there.
just come off us for a second and go
Just
look at this
check
creepy
these guys
bride and
out.
groom. Look at that.
That's frightening.
I would not marry her. Right? Ugh.
But yeah, there's
maybe in the middle of the day with your kids, that's fine.
Yeah. That's probably nice and cute and stuff in broad daylight. But again, a corn maze in the middle of the night when no one's around is
totally different thing.
It's a different thing. I've seen this in movies. I've never done it. I don't know.
This way?
I guess.
I didn't know this was this deep. What way?
This way.
I'm totally turned
Let's go
around
this
now.
way.
I really am. Okay, so this is like Kilbride?
That's Kilbride.
Where are you?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm going towards Brookfield Road.
Okay.
I'm going towards Brookfield Road.
Can I ask a question about these independent films?
Yeah, of course.
Because I've interviewed a bunch of filmmakers, not only horror, a bunch of different genres, some documentary, and it seems like, other than the thrill of making it and the fun, it's tough to create a viable
you heard the
business
spooky
model
laugh,
out
right?
of it.
You heard the spooky laugh?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, but that's just them, right?
I guess.
That's not just disembodied voices in the corn.
No. That
Okay.
is not disembodied voices. So, like, this is a dead end.
That's
right?
a dead end, but this is like the...
What?
This is like the backside of it over here, I think.
Okay.
So, this way, I think, is a way.
I think we're actually lost. Like, sometimes when we do these things, I want to make it creepy for people. So we'll try and create a scenario. Like a couple of years ago, we had somebody jump out and grab Mike's leg.
I was not okay with that.
Mike, I'm talking to the audience. Give us a minute. But right now, that didn't happen. I actually don't know where I am in this maze.
I see the other people.
Oh, there's some people, but they're also not out.
They're also
let's
not
go
out.
this way.
Let's go this way.
So, yeah, like, what do you do with these films? You put them in festivals?
I mean, the whole point of all this, when you're making shorts and movies and like short films, and you're trying to make features, is to make more stuff. Like, that's it's a perpetual motion thing.
People see it though.
And it's to get people to see it, and it's to get people to like what you're doing, and then using that as calling cards to move to the next stage, get more funding for the next project, try to get the next feature. From the feature, you get to a bigger feature.
And next thing you know, you got something on Netflix.
You got a TV series or a movie.
Rogers
it's just
Television St. John's.
It's just about, it's concentric circles. You make projects and you keep trying to
bigger
get
and
bigger
bigger
and bigger
and
and bigger.
Oh, I'm into it.
And that is the model of it, is just trying to get better and bigger with each project you do.
Okay, so speaking of the exact opposite of concentric circles, which make a ton of sense, how about mazes? Like, I'm lost. Where do we go? I mean, it's got to be this. No, see, they're lost too. They're coming this way.
All right, okay, we got...
Okay, so like, you guys are sort of like on the tour with us, right? You don't mind the camera for a second? Seriously though, are you lost a little bit?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I am 100% lost.
We don't know.
We don't.
Did you come up this way?
No.
Oh, well, let's go. Come on.
All right.
We did. Oh, wait.
This is not helpful. All right. But the important thing is, guys, is this creepy and fun? Because that's.
I think I'm gonna find my way out here now.
Okay, all right.
We're good.
Just didn't remember that guy from earlier. That's
yeah!
all right. Yeah, I didn't remember seeing that guy on the way in, so when he caught my eye in the dark a second ago...
He was a little bit creepy?
It was just like, oh, okay, hi, you're here.
Okay, well,
all right.
Thanks, Lester.
All right. And can we do, like, everybody, do you guys remember who you were sat next to on the bus?
Yeah, is everybody
here? And is that person here?
Seriously though, because I didn't do a count.
All right.
So to Linda, our station manager, I'm really sorry. I forgot to count how many people we had, but I think we have them all.
It's probably the best, because if you didn't count before, then whatever number we have now is just the number we have. So we're good.
Well, see, I left the counting up to you, and I didn't realize you were so bad at it.
All right, girls.
Mom, you said it's played again.
Workplace injuries hurt the most at home.
Are you a woman experiencing abuse? Do you know a woman experiencing abuse? Help is available any time of day or night. ShelterSafe.ca is an online map that helps you find a women's shelter or transition house that meets your needs so you can live a life free from violence. ShelterSafe.ca. Help is just a click away.
Whoa, okay. All right.
We're good.
Just didn't remember that guy from earlier. That's all right. Yeah, I didn't remember seeing that guy on the way in, so when he caught my eye in the dark a second ago,
he was a little bit creepy.
It was just like, oh, okay, hi, you're here.
Okay, well, all right. Thanks, Lester.
All right. And can we do, like, everybody, do you guys remember who you were sat next to on the bus?
Yeah, is everybody
here? And is that person here?
Seriously though, because I didn't do a count.
All right.
So, to Linda, our station manager, I'm really sorry. I forgot to count how many people we had, but I think we have them all.
It's probably for the best, because if you didn't count before, then whatever number we have now is just the number we have, so we're good.
Well, see, I left the counting up to you, and I didn't realize you were so bad at it. Welcome back, folks. We're done at the maze. Only lost a couple of people, so that's good. One of the people that we did not lose was Kelley Power, another contributor, co-author of Terror Nova. Again, I can't get over how deadly that name is. So you are in this genre as a writer, have been for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how you got involved in this project, because it's pretty cool.
I was lucky to be invited to this project.
So pardon me. Kelley is a big deal. Sorry. Keep going.
I am definitely not a big deal. I feel like warm body in the seat at the right time.
Yeah.
Would you like to do this?
That's how I got on Rogers.
And that was as simple as it was. Cool. I've known Matt a little bit through working with Engine on some other stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Are you interested?" And I said, "Of course, because I need something to kick me in the butt to get me writing, and that'll do it."
Right.
Yep.
So can you give us a little teaser, kind of what your section of the story that you contributed is about?
Yep, for sure. It's around Belle Island.
Okay.
And it's
a lot of folklore around Belle Island.
Tons of folklore.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing kind of 3 short stories as part of one thing that was a set of transcripts that were interviews.
Okay.
And it ended up being 3 because of what you just said. I started off wanting to do just the one, and the more I thought about it and the more I was reading about it, there was just so much that was there. And even if it wasn't folklore, the wrecks are there, the mines are there. It's just very creepy in a lot of different ways.
And a lot of people have been talking about, well, I mean, the idea that it's almost like Alcatraz, the Rock. Like if you had a prison on there, or if you had like an insane asylum or something on that. I mean, no offense to all you Belle Islanders, it just make for a cool story.
And I mean, some people even said an amusement park, so hey, an abandoned amusement park.
Yeah. Kelley, I heard a rumor that you have been bragging about how yours is the best part of the entire book. Is that true?
I feel like you've said that to everybody, and you're looking for a response every time, and I'm not taking that bait.
Well, see, the thing is, I get to determine how this is edited, so nobody will ever know.
That is definitely not a brag from me. I've read the book from beginning to end.
Yeah. And
there's some really amazing, gross, terrifying stuff in there that I would recommend to anybody over my own even, so it's...
So, do you know what? I can't think of a better way to end a conversation about a book of horror stories on a Halloween special than saying amazing, gross, and terrifying.
You're welcome.
Kelley Power, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the really creepy cemetery that we're going to go walk through, probably as soon as some B-roll of this bus and some scary stuff ends.
Guys are gone up there to set up their interview. Joe's gonna stay with everybody down around here, and I'm gonna go scare them.
Okay, so, creepy cemetery. This is Josh Goudie. I'd also call him creepy if he just wasn't so gosh darn handsome. Josh, another one of the co-contributors, co-authors to Terror Nova. Is freaky, creepy horror stuff your genre? Is that what you do?
No, not at all. Not even close. I don't read horror books. I don't watch horror movies. I tried to dress spooky for tonight, and like this plum sweater was the closest thing I had.
You do not look spooky.
I know. I am not spooky in the least. I write children's books. I work in children's lit. When Mike called me up and said, "Hey, can you write me a story about a werewolf?" I said, "Oh, you want, blood and gnashing teeth?" He said, "Yeah, that's what I want." I said, "I can't do that. That's not what I do."
But you did.
No, I didn't. I started writing, and the closest thing I could get was I wrote a sort of silly story about the idea that, Rising Tide out in Trinity wasn't founded to sort of save the town of Trinity. It was instead done to kind of conceal the fact that there was a werewolf living in the town, and the fact that the tourism has been building has been kind of a nuisance for these people. It was, when I hit send on this, I thought this is not going to be a good fit at all. But then I started reading the book with the collection when it was printed, and I thought, that's kind of the neat thing about working with a bunch of different authors with different backgrounds is everyone brings something a little different.
There was a spider on you.
I'm getting creepier. I'm getting creepier. It's just one story in a horror book, and now there's spiders and great. This is all. Even this.
So
is
did
too
you
much.
have fun being outside your expertise? We'll say.
I have no expertise, but yeah, it was fun being outside of what I usually do. It's almost like flexing a different muscle, trying something new. It was fun. I don't know that I'm a good fit because even though I tried, there's a werewolf just kind of there. Yeah. He's in it. He's not doing a lot.
But much like a werewolf might get a taste for blood, perhaps you've gotten a taste for horror.
Ooh, I feel like that would have been so good to end on, but I had nothing.
No, I think that's a perfect transition. Let's go look around, find some really, really creepy old stuff in this cemetery so to help you celebrate your Halloween night and see if we can't get Josh really scared. Work?
That sounds good to me.
Cool.
It didn't work?
No.
All right.
Well, Mike, as always, I really appreciate you taking the time to bring me to places that are gross and disgusting and talk about terrifying things.
Yeah,
and
I'm happy to do it all the time.
And I'll see you in another 365 days, I guess?
I'll see you at the pub.
We'll see me at the embassy.
We'll be at the pub again. And again, thanks to the embassy for...
Big thank you for Newfoundland Embassy for giving us somewhere to hang out and interview and shoot. Big thanks to Evan Piercey from Piercey's Limousine and Buses, and also to
Jeff, our driver, who's fantastic.
Jeff, who's amazing. Also to Leicester's Farm Market. You're amazing. Thank you for letting us in. And to you and your crew for helping produce our Halloween special.
This was so much fun. I can't thank you enough for, again, just that we actually got on a bus and did this tonight was so cool.
It's Inception.
It's so weird. It's so great.
It's
and yeah, we just want
Terrorception.
We can make Terror Nova can be all kinds of things. It can be a book and a thing and another thing and a bus, and it can be all the things.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Newfoundland horror culture is alive and well, or is it dead and well?
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Hi, I'm Carl Wells, getting ready to record another edition of Carl Wells Point to Point. It's a program where I chat with members of our community and they talk candidly about their lives and careers, from their earliest dreams to their greatest triumphs. I think you'll find it informative and entertaining. Please join us for Carl Wells Point to Point, right here on Rogers TV.
My mother said we had to leave home. The communists were going to take my father away. If my parents were afraid, they didn't show us.